Fangoria Magazine. The iconic horror spin-off from Starlog magazine, Fangoria is known among horror fans as being the horror movie magazine. I started collecting these a few years ago. I didn't read them much as a kid. I always saw them around, but I always was too scared to pick them up. So today I figured we'd go through and take a look at some of these. This might be my favorite issue in the collection. This one has Friday the 13th, the final chapter on the front. Savini's back. Jason dead? It also has a whole cool thing about Ghostbusters, and I'm a huge Ghostbusters fan, so that's really the main reason I bought this. It was just a huge plus that it was also Friday the 13th, the final chapter on the front. It also talks about Stephen King's Firestarter. Man, that's just beautiful, isn't it? Let's take a look at this issue, which has Stephen King retires at the top. This is from October 1986. I think a fly just flew into my mouth. For 1986. What movie does that happen in? Drag Me to Hell? And that's really messed up because I'm talking about the fly right now. I'm going to have to leave this in because otherwise you wouldn't believe me that just happened. That's really... Oh, God, that's gross. It also talks about Texas Chainsaw 2, which I love. Robert Englund's Freddy's Dream for Nightmare 3. Blue Velvet, Cult Crimes and Severed Ears. I'm a huge David Lynch fan, huge Nightmare on Elm Street fan. From Beyond, new Lovecraft horror hero. Cool. Not necessarily my, cup of tea or anything. I think it's cool, though. Trick or Treat, Heavy Metal from Hell. Still have yet to see it, but I've heard a lot of hype. I'm interested in it now. And Night of the Creeps. This is a great issue. I'm also a huge Cronenberg fan. It's Cronenberg, David Lynch, Texas Chainsaw 2, Nightmare 3, Night of the Creeps, and the O in Fangoria is Evil Ed. Now, if that's not incredible, I don't know what is. Look at that back advertisement for Demons on VHS. If you haven't seen Demons, I highly recommend checking it out, too. Issue 93, talking about Gremlins 2, the new batch. I'm a huge Gremlins 2 fan. I love Gremlins as well, but Gremlins 2 is something special in a different place in my heart. Gremlins I associate with Christmas, inherently. I can't separate it. So every December I'm watching that. But Gremlins 2, free for all. I'll watch that movie any time of the year. Man, it's also talking about Class of 99, Bride of Reanimator, Prom Night 3, Child's Play 2, plus The Feebles, and Darkman. I just love seeing everything that's being talked about at the same time, because some of it's just so awesome, and you forget issue 145. This one's got Godzilla on it, which is the reason I picked it up, but it also has Rumpelstiltskin, and I've done a review of that movie on DVD here. Also talks about Species, and From Dusk Till Dawn, Quentin Tarantino's vampire epic. The back is an ad to order Batman Forever costumes. That's just amazing. Issue 147. This one features Halloween, The Curse of Michael Myers, Are You Afraid of the Dark, Hellraiser Bloodline, Return of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre with advanced review. And there's an ad for a Halloween outlet on the back. Issue 154 features The Frighteners, Watch Out Ghostbusters. Also has a bit on Independence Day. So this is an issue from 1996, and they're already talking about Peter Jackson remakes King Kong, which didn't come out till 2005? That's crazy. Issue 161 with Hemogoblin on the cover. Also Anaconda, which is the reason I picked this magazine up. Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Lost Highway, again, big David Lynch fan. X-Files, love X-Files. Issue 162 features the TV miniseries of The Shining on the front. Also talks about the Scream sequel that's coming up, and An American Werewolf in Paris. There's some of these that I paid $2 for at this local antique mall. This is one of them. This one covers The Lost World Jurassic Park, talks more about The Shining, and more about X-Files. There's an ad to buy a raptor egg or a raptor claw on the back of the magazine, too. Issue 166 with Spawn on the front. It's also talking about Men in Black, Scream, I Know What You Did Last Summer, Alien Resurrection, and more on X-Files. A sick Halloween outlet ad on the back again. These are just so fun to look through. They're just making me want it. I want it to be October already. Or at least, September 1st. I'm good with that. I can Halloween it up completely guilt-free from that point on. Issue 178. This is one of my favorites that I have in the collection. because it has Bride of Chucky on the front with a great picture of both of them. The couple that slays together stays together. This is just a beautiful fucking magazine right here. It talks about I Still Know What You Did Last Summer, John Carpenter's Vampires, Phantasm Oblivion, and I have not heard of this movie on the back, but it looks awesome. Bloodstorm, Subspecies 4, Bloodstorm, The Master's Revenge. Okay, damn. Issue 179, featuring the remake of Psycho. A lot of people have mixed opinions on it. I think it's an interesting movie, at least. It's also talking Mighty Joe Young, The Faculty. The Faculty's great. If you haven't seen it, I've also reviewed that. More on I Still Know What You Did Last Summer, Carrie 2, and Progeny. Win a DVD player and Twilight Zone discs. Oh, and come on. Look at the back of this. Look at that ad from Spencer's Gifts. You remember these, don't you? Issue 181, featuring Wishmaster 2. Wishmaster 2 is wacky as shit. I love the first Wishmaster. I think it's great. Wishmaster 2 is watchable only for the comedy. Like, it's completely devoid of actual scary anything. But it's also talking about Idle Hands, which is one of the best horror comedies ever. Existence from Cronenberg. More on Carrie 2, and K&B Effects talking about The Faculty Alien, which is, this is my era. The 90s Fangoria ones are the ones I'm happiest to own. Now, the 80s ones are a little more rare. That's why, I don't have as many. I think I have 2 from the 80s. One from 84, one from 86, and then seems to jump straight to like 92. Issue 182 features The Mummy remake, which I'm a huge fan of. I've also reviewed that on VHS. More on Idle Hands. It looks like they're talking about other mummies in the past, too. There's an ad on the back of this one for Star Trek, Godzilla, and James Bond albums. Issue 183, with Candyman, Day of the Dead on the front. You gotta have Tony Todd on the cover of a magazine. That's perfect, And I love the color scheme, too. The pink over here. Again, this one's talking about The Mummy. It talks about The Haunting, more on Existence, and more on Idle Hands. And a Fangoria Presents iZombie VHS release. It seems to be Fangoria's first VHS release. I honestly didn't know they released any, but that's pretty cool. Issue 190. This one is Pitch Black on the front. You remember that movie with Vin Diesel? I think that one's good. I don't like the rest of the movies in that series, what it turned into, but that one's good. Scream 3, Final Destination. I love that image for Scream 3 on the front there, too. The 100-page Horror Spectacular, all color, the 200th issue of Fangoria. All new exclusive interviews with Clive Baker, Sean Cunningham, George Romero, Wes Craven, Dick Smith, Robert Englund, Rick Baker, and Toby Hooper. That's insane. And I love how they feature some of the various covers from throughout the years. I want to get that Hellraiser 2 cover. Damn, look at that. Plus, there's an exclusive article by John Carpenter. There's a European horror DVD promo on the back there. I guess some of these are a little out of order, but here's issue 189, which has an advanced preview of Scream 3, Wes Craven's final stab. Tim Burton speaks Sleepy Hollow Gothic Secrets. Exclusive interview with Schwarzenegger, End of Days. Plus, House on Haunted Hill, Pitch Black, and Flight 180, which we now know to be Final Destination. There's a promo on the back for some sort of Scream toy here, too, which is pretty cool. Issue 191 from American Psycho on the front there. Now, it's one of my favorite books, one of my favorite authors, and I do really enjoy that movie, so I had to pick this one up. Also has stuff on Final Destination, The Crow of Salvation, Pitch Black, and Godzilla, and an on-set exclusive with Godzilla 2000. And again, with these back ads, they're just amazing. A Tromaville.com ad. Issue 216 features Red Dragon, Hannibal Lecter's new bite. Also talks about Ghost Ship, The Ring, controversial remake, Bruce on the Loose, Bubba Hotep Terminal Invasion. Again, you throw Bruce Campbell in this magazine, I'm gonna pick it up, you know what I mean? Speaking of Ghost Ship, issue 217 also features Ghost Ship on the front there. They also talk about Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers, and Red Dragon. Jess Franco's Restored Erotic Classics. You have my attention. Issue 236. Jaws. Issue 236. Billy from Saw. We love to see it. We also have first news on Seed of Chucky, Ginger Snaps Back, Resident Evil Apocalypse, and Jaws to Open Water, Shark Movie History. And the last issue of Fangoria that I have in the collection came out 20 years ago. Issue 237, featuring Shaun of the Dead, which is probably my top 5 movies of all time. It also talks about Seed of Chucky, Friday the 13th DVD box sets, The Grudge, Sam Raimi's Japanese Nightmare. As a bonus, I figured I'd go through my Starlog magazines, which I have quite a few as well. As a bonus, I figured I'd go through my Starlog magazines because I don't really have enough to go through and make a whole video about just these. This one features Terminator 2. How are you not going to pick that up for $4? And Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey, RoboCop 3. It's beautiful, isn't it? There's an ad for AnimeCon 91. Here's issue 178 of Starlog featuring Batman Returns. Look at that. That contrast with the orange is just beautiful. Honey, I Blew Up the Kid. I also really like that movie. It's underrated. Terminator meets Die Hard. Cool World. Universal Soldier. Issue 215. Now, I'm a huge Congo fan, so I have to own the issue of Starlog with Congo on the front. And of course, X-Files. I gotta have it. Issue 229 featuring Independence Day all over the cover. Now, I just reviewed that too on VHS. Check that out. It also talks about Twister, and the sequel to that comes out in like 9 days. Starlog 237. George Lucas explains why he revised the saga. David Cronenberg defends his kinky Crash. If you haven't seen Crash, look it up. Also got a little thing on Xena, Warrior Princess. We'd love to see it. 239. We've got Batman and Robin on the front of this one. Also talks about Fifth Element and Spawn. But look how ridiculous those outfits are. I like this one because it looks like a newspaper. You got the June 1998 issue, 251. Obviously talking about Godzilla 98. It's talking about comets. Okay, it's talking about Deep Impact. I was like, I don't know, 98, that could be Deep Impact or Armageddon. But it's Deep Impact, which is good because I like that one slightly better. Lost in Space. What a time. And the most recent issue of Starlog that I have, from September, is issue 302 with Mel Gibson from Signs on the front. I love Signs. I'm not obviously a huge Mel Gibson fan personally. I like him in some movies, Signs being my favorite role of his, and also talks about Spy Kids. Dad Antonio Banderas goes ballistic. Well, that has been my collection of Fangoria and Starlog magazines. Let me know which issue was your favorite down in the comments below, and be sure to check out this video and hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching.